Hello, this is CC. So we are going to talk about chapter 11, which is time series. So time series is very important. And so I will share my screen with you and we can review time series together, that chapter together. So for time series, we first thing we will look at is, okay, we can get current day, right? And date time stores both the date and the time down to the microsecond, and time delta represents the temporal difference between two date time objects. So how to understand it? Okay, we have delta. So let me calculate it. Okay. This is what we have. And we have 2020 and so what is delta? What is K? This is a delta. This is days, and this is seconds. Actually, we can see everything here, right? So the next part is we can add a time delta or multiple thereof to a data time object to yield a new shifted object. So for example, for the time delta, we have a new time, which before it's like this, and right now, what we are doing is to, in time delta, there is a 12, and so after it minus 2 multiply time delta, then we have the result here. And the next part we will look at is converting between string and date time. So we can format date time objects and pandas time step objects, which we will introduce later, and as strings using string and the strip time method passing a format specification. So we have stamp, and our stamp is string, and then we use string of time to change it to date time. So let's check if it is date, if it is real date time, right? So, okay, DT, what is the type of DT? Okay, still string, right? And we can use many of the same format codes to convert string to dates using date time strip time. So this is string, turn to string. This is from string to date time. So let's check. Okay. We turn value into something else, which is D. So what's the type of D? Okay, it's date time, and we can do it separately. Okay, so this is the result we want. And the next part is that we can also use parser pass method in the third-party date until package. So what we can use for it, so we can write a format specific each time, but for the pass we don't need to write a format, specific format. So we use parser, okay, and we get the date time, and we always get the same like format here, which is nice. So the next thing we will look at is, so pandas is generally oriented toward working with arrays of dates, whether used as access, index, or column in data frame. So the true data method parse many different kinds of data representations. So for example, we have this long string and we use this to create it into date time. And we also can turn the whole column to date time. Use this. So it's also handle values that should be considered missing. So what's in index right now? Okay, we have an NA. So NAT is pandas null value for time step data. So datetime object also have a number of local specific formatting option for system in other countries or languages. So there are many data formatting that we can use. So the next thing I will talk about time series basics. So a basic kind of time series object in pandas is a series indexed by time steps, which is often represented external to pandas as Python strings or datetime objects. So we can see we have this, okay, series, and the index for this is, okay, state time, which is nice. And so like other series, arithmetic operations between differently indexed time series automatically align on days. So right now we have TS. So this is a TS2. And what's TS looks like? Okay, it's like this. Right, so we have this one and we have this one. So we add them together. What will be the result? So for January 2, okay, we add them together. See, okay, this is TS. And we add them together. And how about 17? Okay, we add them together. So if I cannot find anything in this part, it will be null. It will be the result. And the next part we want to look at is, okay, so scalar values from data time index are pandas time step objects. So a time step can be substituted anywhere you want to use date time object. Additionally, it can store frequency information and understands how to do time zone conversions and other kinds of manipulations. And so next part, we will look at indexing selection subsetting, which is time series behaves like any other pandas series when you are indexing and selecting data based on label. And as a convenience, you can pass a string that is interpretable as a date. So for example, we can create one like this. Okay, what's in these two? Okay, they are the same. And so the next part, for a longer time series, a year or only a year and a month can be passed to easily select slices of data. Okay, so we only find the slices of data. And yeah, which is easy. And so the next part, because most time series data is ordered by time, so we can slice with the time steps not contained in the time series to perform a range query like this. Okay, and the next part we can look at is that, as before, we can pass either a string date, data time, or time step. So slicing in the manner produce views on the source time series like slicing NumPy arrays. So no data is copied and modification on the slice will be reflected in the original data. So there is another method, truncate, that slices a series between 2 dates. So we use truncate. Here we use truncate and between 2 days, and all of the holds true for data frame as well. So we can use log to find what we want. And the time series with duplicated indices in some applications, there must be multi-date observations falling on a particular time step. So sometimes we have the same time step. So what should we do? Okay, so here we have duplicate date, right? Duplicate, it means we have duplicate index. So, okay, so when we can tell that the index is not unique. Also, we can index into this time series will now either produce scalar values or slices depending on whether a time step is duplicated. So for example, what do we do? Okay, this is not duplicated. So this is a result we have, and for duplicated, this is a result we have. And suppose we want to aggregate the data, have a non-unique time steps. One way to do so this is to use group by, and the pass level is equal to 1. So let's see the result here. So we have grouped, group mean, and see, that's the result we have. And so for the date range, frequency and shifting, and time zone handling, the periods and period arithmetic. Okay, I will talk. There was a resampling and frequency conversion. Okay. And moving window functions. I will talk them tomorrow. So I will stop here and see you tomorrow.